Hey, my name is A. Jones. I'm the Operations Section Chief for the Greater Shenango Cares IRT mission. With me is Matt Beckwith, who will be the Incident Commander of the IRT mission. And we're going to go over today some of the security and safety issues that you may deal with while volunteering here at the IRT.
Some of the key personnel that are going to be involved in the IRT mission will be obviously the incident commander, which is myself, Matt Beckwith, the operations section chief, which is Wes Jones. There will be a command post that will be established both inside the school and a communications trailer that will handle all radio communications throughout the duration of the event will be staged outside.
There will be 2 police officers throughout the entirety of the event, one from the Sheriff's Office and one from the Norwich Police Department. There will also be zone leaders stationed in each section who will act as fire wardens. Additionally, there will be numerous military personnel that will be operating throughout the event.
Some of the situations that you will encounter, hopefully not, but you may encounter throughout the duration of the event, will be fire alarms. There is a possibility of incoming weather that may result in severe storms. There may be an intruder or disruptive person. There may be a medical emergency that may be on throughout the event. And then a general threat to the building or the event. Some of the terms that we're going to refer to are lockdown and or shelter in place. Lockdown is very similar to the school's lockdown procedure. In the event of a lockdown, we'll go into more details on that, but basically it's locking down the building itself. Shelter in place is exactly that. If something happens, such as a weather event that comes through, you may hear orders where you're going to shelter in place, and it's going to be sheltering within the existing building in which you're in. Lockout, again, another school term. In the event that there's a threat on the outside of the building, we will do a lockout, which means that nobody will be allowed inside the building. And another term is evacuation, and that could be used throughout any of the events that may take place there, whether it be a fire alarm or medical emergency or something to that effect where we have to actually evacuate the building. And we'll go through each one of these in steps.
The first one I'm going to go over is lockdown or shelter in place. They're very similar. They are distinct in what they could be, but for the most part, they're fairly similar. A couple examples of why we would lock down or shelter in place would be a medical emergency in the building, or it could be more severe, such as an intruder. If there were in order for a lockdown or a shelter in place, there would be a sample announcement which would go out over the PA system. That sample, an idea of what that might sound like would be: attention, due to an emergency situation, the building is now in lockdown. Please remain in the rooms and follow the instructions from the staff and fire wardens. Also, disregard any fire alarms while in lockdown unless further instructed. This could apply to the whole campus or a particular area. The police and security and fire wardens are responsible for immediately securing the area they are responsible for, and then making sure people are in the rooms and not in the hallways. Volunteers will assist in calming and ensuring compliance and reporting any problems to police or the security fire wardens. Again, I'll repeat, do not respond to a fire alarm unless there's an imminent threat of fire that is observed while in a lockdown procedure. In a lockout, one of the examples could be that there's a threat immediately outside the building, or there's an indirect threat to the building or the event itself. The biggest difference between the lockdown and the lockout is that activities will continue in the building until the lockout is clear, or if necessary, change to a lockdown.
Some of the reasons that we would evacuate the building simply would be as a result of a fire alarm or otherwise directed. Fire alarm activations handled just like we would any other school type fire alarm system. You'd be asked to exit the building. If you'll notice in all the classroom areas, there are already pre-designated evacuation routes. And once the fire alarm has been activated, an audible or visual alarm will notify you in the event that the building needs to be evacuated. If there's an occurrence and we have to evacuate during inclement weather, the staging area will be Golden Artist Colors Warehouse, which is directly south of the school complex. The fire wardens will conduct an accountability of all persons outside in the staging area, and they will report the number of personnel, i.e. all accounted for, missing one, missing two, to the command post, and then they will provide further information on who is not accounted for. Once accountability is confirmed, the fire wardens will communicate via radio, like I said, back to the command post. Once we realize that everybody is all accounted for, we're going to ask that everybody remain calm and await further orders. Be mindful of the fire department arriving, or the police agency arriving, or local authorities arriving, whoever that may be. We want to make sure that we keep fire lanes and etc. clear at all times. Once the building has been deemed safe or there's a reoccupancy into the building, then the wardens will allow the military staff and people that are working the event to reoccupy the building prior to the civilian staff or visitors to the IRT. And once everybody gets back into place, then we will allow the general people to be able to come back in.